A pleasant morning to each and everyone again. Welcome to our subject, Government Accounting. So let us continue our lesson in our subject, and the title of our lesson for this day is all about the budget process. So these are the different learning objectives. Number one, enumerate the steps in the budget process. Number two, describe briefly the principles of responsibility accounting. The national budget is the government's estimate of the sources and uses of government funds within a fiscal year. This forms the basis for expenditures and the government's key instrument for promoting its socio-economic objectives. Ayan po, that is the definition of national budget po. So nung sabi po dito guys, this forms the basis for expenditures po. So kung wala po siya sa budget, hindi po natin pwedeng gastusin guys or gumastos guys. And is the government's key instrument for promoting its socio-economic objectives. So doon po natin malalaman kung ano pa po yung mga projects na pwede pong gawin ni government for that year, for a certain month, or other period of time based on the budget. The budget cycle, budget preparation, budget legislation, budget execution, then budget accountability. So meron po tayong acronym po na gagamitin, PLEA. For P stands for preparation, L legislation, execution, accountability. Para mas madali po nating kabisaduhin po the budget cycle po, PLEA. Budget preparation, bottom-up approach, zero-based budgeting. So the first step is to call for a budget call, budget hearings, then presentation to the office of the president. House deliberations, Senate deliberations, bicameral deliberations, president's enactment. The approved budgets consist of the following: new general appropriations, continuing appropriations, supplemental appropriations, automatic appropriations, and program funds, retained income or funds, revolving funds, trust receipts. Appropriation. So how do we define appropriation? Is the authorization made by the legislative body to allocate funds for purposes specified by the legislative or similar authority. So without authorization, syempre di po siya appropriated na mga projects po. New general appropriations, annual authorizations for incurring obligations as listed in the GAA. Continuing appropriations, authorizations to support the incurrence of obligations beyond the budget year, example, multi-year construction projects to support the incurrence. Okay, so alam po natin, beyond the budget year po. So sobra po sa isang taon po ang paggawa ng proyektong ito guys. Supplemental appropriations, additional appropriations to augment the original appropriations which proved to be insufficient. So gagawa ka nito kasi nga kulang po yung budget guys. So, automatic appropriations, authorizations, program annually which do not require periodic action by the Congress. Kasi mandatory po siya, so automatic meron po siyang budget na ibibigay po sa kanya po. And program funds, standby appropriations, so which may be availed only upon the occurrence of certain instances po. Retained income or funds, collections which the agencies can use directly in their operations po. So, bawat ahensya naman po, or most of the agencies may mga ganyan po guys, na pinagkakakitaan na pwede po nilang gamitin for a certain purpose guys. Revolving funds, receipts from business type activities of agencies which are authorized to be constituted as such. These are self-liquidating and all obligations and expenditures incurred by virtue of said business type activity shall be charged against the fund po. Trust receipts by a government agencies acting as agents. So mas lalo po nating ma-appreciate po ang different appropriations, especially kapag nag-work na po tayo. So from the definition, alam niyo naman pong unawain po yan. And from the given explanations po na ibinigay ko po. Budget execution po, release guidelines and BEDs. Major recipients of budget po in gas, LGUs, GOCCs. So ano po yung mga yan? So let us see, ma-encounter po natin as we move on, guys. Local government units, government on corporations, government on control corporations, national government agencies, guys. So those are the definitions of those acronyms, guys. Allotment, incurrence of obligations, disbursement authority. Allotment is an authorization issued by the DBM to government agencies to incur obligations for specified amounts contained in a legislative appropriation in the form of budget release documents. It is also referred to as obligation authority. Okay, so meron po siyang karapatan na maglabas na since it was issued by the DBM. Kasi kung walang pirma pong DBM for our proposal, then hindi po tayo pwedeng mag-execute or mag-pay po ng certain obligation, guys. Disbursement Authority, Notice of Cash Allocation, authority issued by the DBM to central, regional, and provincial offices and operating units to cover their cash requirements. The NCA specifies the maximum amount of cash that can be withdrawn from government servicing bank in a certain period. So yun lang po ang pwede pong ilabas ng bangko. Notice of Transfer of Allocation, authority issued by an agency central office to its regional and operating units to cover the latter's cash requirements. So for example, binigyan po si agency, main agency, tapos meron po siyang mga different branches sa iba't ibang locations in our country. So, nagbibigay po siya ng notice of transfer of allocation po. Non-cash availment authority, authority issued by the DBM to agencies to cover the liquidation of their actual obligations incurred against available allotments for availment of proceeds from loans, grants through suppliers, credit, or constructive cash. Cash disbursement ceiling, authority issued by the DBM to agencies with foreign operations, allowing them to use the income collected by their foreign service post to cover their operating requirements. So nakita nyo naman guys with foreign operations po. So hindi lahat po ng agencies meron maybe ganitong transaction guys. Ayan, maybe. Okay. So these are the different terms that we can still encounter in our government accounting, guys. Appropriation, I will repeat again, an authorization by a legislative body to allocate funds for specified purpose. Allotment, authorization to agencies to incur obligations. Obligation, amount contracted by an authorized officer for which the government is held liable. Disbursement, actual amount paid out of the budgeted amount. So we cannot disburse any amount from the government funds without following the different procedures, guys. Without appropriation, without allotment. Even you have an obligation, if that is not authorized by the government, then wala din po, guys. Budget accountability reports, performance reviews, audit. So the budget cycle from budget preparation. Ayan. So, ini-audit po lahat ni COA ang government transactions, guys. So, yan naman po ang kinakabuti ng ating gobyerno. Meron pong check and balance, guys. Kasi kung walang taga-check, sino po ang magsasabi na mali ang kanilang ginagawa? Tama po ba, guys? Yes po. Responsibility accounting. Responsibility accounting is a system of providing cost and revenue information over which a manager has direct control of kung sino po ang responsible for this transaction. Sino kaya guys? Ayun. So maganda po ang ganyan po kasi nga alam natin kung sino po ang nagkamali. So alam din po natin kung sino po ang dapat may nagkamali. So alam po natin kung sino po ang magkakaroon ng demerits like that. Alam po natin kung sino pong nabibigyan din po ng credits kapag maganda pong kanyang performance po. It requires the identification of responsibility centers and the distinction between controllable and non-controllable costs. Ayan, so that ends our lesson na pala guys. So I hope natuto po tayo for this lesson. And if ever may katanungan po tayo, just comment down below your inquiries and I will answer po at my best po yung ating mga katanungan. And then after that, I will send you the activities po, the different activities for this lesson. So that ends our lesson for this day. I hope may natutunan po tayo sa araw na ito. Thank you and God